I'd like to call the Nash County Board of Education back into open session. One of the first things on the agenda, I need a motion to amend the work session agenda to add interviews for District 8 Board Member C. Can I get a motion, please?
Second.
It's been properly moved in second by Mr. Dunstan, seconded by Ms. Davis. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes carried. Okay, so the first thing that we have on the agenda is we have Ms. Kathy Hawk. She will be coming and sharing with us. Ms. Hawk, if you want to. Yes, ma'am. So welcome. Thank you for showing an interest for serving on this board and serving our kids.
Thank you.
In the District 8 level. So there are a total of 9 questions we'll be asking. And we'll start out with question number 1 that will be given by District 1 representative.
Okay. Welcome, glad you're here. What is your vision for Nash County Public Schools?
Wow. Well, there's some things I think that are great and other things I think that could use improvement. One of the ones that I really think needs improvement are the meals that are served. I wish we could get back to more nutrition, not so much sugar and processed foods. I don't believe that's good for the children at all. Being I have 3 children in 3 different grades, they come home and tell me a lot of stuff and not all of it is good. I think stuff that goes on in the classrooms, we need to do something about that to find out what and why it's going on and why it's not being addressed or being taken care of. Where I come from, this school is so far advanced. You know, I came from a very rural central PA area. I think we might have had 2,400 kids in the whole school district. So here, you guys do everything different. You are more ahead of the times. We were always maybe 10 years behind the times there. For the 10 months we've been here, I see a lot of things that are great and things I would have never thought of. But there's always room for improvement. And not knowing everything, I can tell you the schools and what goes on in some of these classrooms is certainly some things that need addressed. Mhm.
Thank you. And yes.
As a matter of fairness, can the other 2 step out while we ask these questions? Correct.
Technically not, it's an open meeting. This is one of the 4 within the.
I'm okay with it.
That's it.
It doesn't bother
And
me.
thank you, Mr. Edwards. But I will say also, for the sake of time, we're going to ask that you will respond. We got 4 people that's supposed to be interviewing for this role. So that we'd ask that we sort of limit our time to about 2 to 3 minutes so we can get through the process. Thank you very much. Question number 2.
As a board member, what would be your role in helping the school system understand and support your vision for public education and the Nash County Public Schools?
Can you repeat that?
Sure.
As a role?
Say you become the board member.
Uh-huh.
What would be your role in helping the school system understand and support your vision, which you just explained to us, for the public education in our system?
Well, when you're on the board, it isn't just one person saying, hey, I think we should do new meals. I mean, we all have to work. You have to work as a team. And although we won't always agree, you can agree to disagree. So, you know, if I come forward and say, hey, we got to change these meals and do this and that, and all of you are against it, well, nothing I can do by myself. It has to be all of the majority of us working together. And I don't know who all has children in the schools here, but I can bring stuff that maybe other people, you don't know, because I hear it every day.
Number 3, explain how your experiences and talents have prepared you to be an effective school board member.
Oh, well, I've been in retail all my life, pretty much. Started managing Tom McCann shoe stores, going to Blockbuster Video. Then I was in bedding electronics. I always had budgets to work with, payroll. You couldn't, when you work for a corporation, you can't go over those hours. You got a budget of X amount of dollars, and Wednesday hits and you're not making your numbers, they cut, to cut the employees. My husband and I opened up our own carpet business, and we were the main subcontractor for Lowe's of Westminster, Maryland for 5 years. So not only did we have our 11 employees, we had to deal with all the customers for Lowe's, and I did all the calling for the measurements, the paperwork, sending it over to Lowe's. So I'm very business oriented. And then I was a foster parent for a little over 14 years. And with that, I had to deal with local CYS, the caseworkers, the director, 3 different school districts, because where I lived, the one school was grandfathered in. So where you lived on my road, you could choose to go to this school or that public school. So when I had these bad teen girls that nobody else wanted, if they were in public school A, I'd get them, I'd put them in public school B in case the problem was at the school. And then also dealt with a Christian school. So I had no more than 6 kids in my care at all time. From I typically did not do babies, but five on up. So dealing with different school principals, issues, board meetings, discipline problems with the children. I mean, you have to do it all. And then meanwhile, while I was a foster parent, if you ever saw the show, The American Pickers, do you know what that is?
Yep.
Well, I also did that, but I wasn't buying old Harley Davidsons. I did it on a smaller scale. So while the kids were in school through the week, I was out picking people's. They would call me. I had an ad in the paper every day, and they'd call me up, and I go to your house. Maybe your parents passed, or you put them in the home, and they wanted to get rid of all the stuff. So instead of throwing it away, they would call me. I would pick through it, take what I want, and pay you for it. We would agree on a price, and I'd take my stuff and go. Then from that, I either kept some for my collection, then I was a big eBayer. So very lucrative for me. For 8 years, I was a picker while having 3 to 6 children in my care at all times, and cooking and cleaning and laundry and doing all the bills.
Thank you.
Ms. Hall.
Yeah.
What do you see as the challenges facing our schools?
Well, and I don't think it's just for this, it's a lot of schools. I don't care if it's where I came from or where it's here. Well, obviously drugs is probably number one or two. Drugs is a big thing. And this is a hard one to tackle, but the way the children act and what they say in the classrooms and on the recess yard, I'm just blown away because little ones, Englewood, shouldn't be speaking like that. You know what I mean? I think, and a lot of this comes from the home. It's not the school's fault, obviously. I hate to use the word discipline, but we have to get a hold of these kids and make them accountable for what they say or do in the schools or bring in drugs or whatever the thing is. I think that's a big thing. And the drugs, those two, and the curriculum. I think from what I see, I don't necessarily agree with all the grading system. Now, when I went to school, a D was 70 to a 75. Well, now Ds are, 60s are considered a D. So I think the grading scale has come down, which I feel like makes our kids, they don't have to try as hard. They don't have to try as hard because they know they're going to pass. I don't agree with that, but.
What issues from a District 8 point of view should the Nash County Public Schools be addressing in the coming years?
Well, I guess basically what I just said, and I've only lived here for 10 months, so I don't know, I know some, but obviously I don't know everything, and I just have to learn and listen to what you guys bring to the table and what parents bring to the table. I know sometimes parents will contact, maybe in your district, you have who asked me that question? Mrs. Block. Maybe a parent will come to you in your district and say, hey, can you bring this up at the next meeting? So you have to listen to the parents and the other board members and go from there and just work as a team.
Mrs. Hall, what do you believe your primary responsibilities would be as a school board member?
Well, to show up to the meetings, to work as a team, not have a constant tug of war. Just be there when you need to be there. Keep your eyes and ears open in the community to see the good and the not so good, and bring it to the, maybe I see something or know something that none of you guys know because someone told me. So I bring it to your attention. Then we deal with it from there.
What are the first things you would do to familiarize yourself with the needs of District 8 and the rest of the school district?
Well, I've been reading the Constitution of being on the board, and some things I was shocked to see. Good things. It's a lot of reading, let me tell you. The one thing that got my attention was the Constitution, Article 6, number 8. To be elected or to be on, you cannot deny the being of the Almighty God. And I was shocked to see that because I thought in these times, people don't want to hear about religion. So I was glad to see that on there. There's a lot of reading of what board members are expected to do, what you can do, what you can't do. I think it's more important to know what you can't do, more so than what you can do. You don't go around flirting saying, hey, I'm a board member, you better let me cut in front of line here. You know, that type of thing. You don't bully people with it. So there's a lot of reading you have to do. And it's all found online. And I've been going over it for the past week. And just get familiar with stuff that comes up every month. And listen to you guys and ask questions if I don't understand.
Okay, Mrs. Hogg, do you plan to run for the District 8 seat in the next election?
Yes. Well, to my surprise, I did not know this was coming up. I was going to run in the District 8 in the election. In fact, I even called the Board of Elections and asked how I had to do it. And she said, you have to wait till July and pay $60 and all that stuff. And then when the vacancy came open, I was shocked because where I came from, we very small, but we had 3 regions, but each region had 3 representatives. Okay, where you guys have 1 per district. So there was 9 total. And coming here, I thought, well, when the time comes, maybe I'll run, but never expected to be a vacancy, or obviously I wouldn't be standing here tonight. I'd have to wait till July, August to start campaigning. And I do want to say something. The way we got here was around about last year, put the house up a crazy price, didn't really think it would sell, but then it sold. And then we didn't know where we're going. And I just said, God just put me down south with a white kitchen. He put me here and have a white kitchen. And I kept saying, because it was 9 days before we had settlement that we found a house. And I said, I don't care. Just put me somewhere where I need to be. So I find it that my neighbor just broke her arm. My 80-year-old neighbor broke her arm last week. I'm sitting with her 2 days a week. She has surgery tomorrow, and a vacancy came up in my district. What are the chances? I feel like he put me here because he knew she was going to break her arm and there was going to be a vacancy.
I have the final question, and that question is, do you value diversity? And what efforts would you as a board member make to promote diversity within our school district?
Well, as a foster parent, I dealt with a lot of diversity. I've dealt with kids from different backgrounds, boys, girls, kids of neglect and abuse and sexual abuse. And then sometimes the kids I got, they weren't the problem at all. It was the parents. So I dealt with that there. And of course, you know, diversity makes the world go round. If you don't have it, it's kind of boring. So everyone has to blend together, get along, agree to disagree, and try to make the best choices for the kids, and not just the kids, because you got a lot of people that work for the school district, teachers, et cetera, that aren't too happy. And I think they would like to see some changes for the better to make them happy. If you don't have happy teachers, you have miserable kids. So we have to do it just not for the kids, but for the teachers and the staff, the principals, all of them.
Okay, that ends those questions. So we will let you know at probably at the end of this meeting, or we'll respond back as far as how you fared with the group. Okay? Thank you, ma'am. Robert Cordell.
Good afternoon, board.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for being here. What is your vision for Nash County Public Schools?
My vision for Nash County Public Schools is to eliminate cell phones. That's beginning to be a problem in the classroom. I like to see the Tar River Academy to be overhauled. I like to see so that the kids will know that the academy is for the kids' last defense for being put out of school, and not as a place where they can do 2 or 3 assignments or subjects and then they can graduate. I like to see the middle school be put back into the Tar River Academy. I like to see the board to make sure that all money is being provided by the state and local is geared to be spent for what they supposed to be spent for. I would like to see an alternative to out of school suspension, maybe an accomplished suspension for our children. Our children need to be in school. When have the parents to come to the schools and they kind of embarrass the kids just a little bit so they can straighten up their behavior. I would like to see less use of the computer because our kids are getting to be too robotic in using the computer. And I like to see a lot more teacher and student feedback, using of the pencil and the paper. And I like to see a change in the 90-minute block to a 60-minute block, because 90 minutes is rather long. And I like to see the school system maybe to include Rocky Mount back in the school system in some form or fashion, because at one time, I believe Rocky Mount was paying $7 million to the school system. And I think we need to get them back in the forward school system so we can use that money. I'd like to see us do some good hiring of skilled teachers so they could stay with us for a long time.
Thank you.
2.
All right, number 2. Mr. Cordell, as a board member, what would be your role in helping the school system understand and support your vision for public education and the Nash County public school system?
First of all, I would visit all 27 schools. Not to micromanage, but to let the schools know that I'm there for them. I would the 12 hours for certification. I will work hard to make sure I got 12 hours certification. I will let the principals know and the school know, the children know that I'm there for them. And I will do everything I can to make them succeed. One of the goals that I think the school system needs to do is to make sure that 100% of the kids be successful, 100% of kids graduate. Even if they came to school as pre-K or they came into school as a transfer from another school. We need to see the dropouts rate cease, and we need to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure that the test scores increase, because we need no more failing schools.
Thank you.
Explain how your experiences and talents have prepared you to be an effective school board member.
Thank you. I didn't think you asked. I got a bachelor's degree from Winston-Salem State University. I got a Master of Education degree from Virginia State University. I've been a teacher, coach, counselor, tutor in this business over 40-some years. I've taught, coached over, and administered over 30,000 children in my lifetime. I have been a teacher here, this school system. I have been an assistant principal here in the school system. And in my candidacy, 3 times I tried to be a board member here. Once as a writing candidate, another 2 times as a candidate, but just didn't get enough votes. But nobody else will come in this podium tonight will give you the much experience that I have in education, because I have knocked on thousands of doors. I have shook thousands of hands. I have given out leaflets, thousands of leaflets, to be a part of you. So that should tell you something. Now, in my opinion, I really think that I've earned this job, but it's up to you to give it to me.
Cool. Ms. Cordell, what do you see as the challenges facing our school system?
The issues, in my opinion, the school system is discipline, of course. We have a lot of drug use, of course. We have a lot of apathy. We have a lot of kids who just don't care. We have a lot of dropout rates still need to plummet. And we got to work with our kids, because 65, in my research, 65% of our kids are not reading on the 4th grade proficiency level. That's 2/3 of our elementary kids. And if this rate keeps up, we're gonna have more failing schools. We got to address the issues of reading, because our kids don't like to read. Our kids, we got about 60 to 70% of our children don't even have books at home. That's a tragedy. And that's scary when you got almost 2/3 of our students who do not want to read.
Mr. Cordell,
Yes, ma'am.
what issues from a District 8 point of view should the Nash County Public Schools be addressing in the coming years?
District 8 is very unique in a way. Again, they have a lot of students who overuse of the cell phone, I think, in the classroom. In the middle school, we had kids dial 911 right from school. We have kids that a lot of apathy, a whole lot of don't care. And we got to inspire and motivate our kids to be good and to read and get those test scores up and keep them from dropping out of school. District 8 is unique in a way that there's a lot of poverty in that area, but that do not mean that kids do not know how to act in school. So those issues really need to be addressed.
Mr. Cordell, what do you believe to be your duties as a member of the school board?
To be here at every meeting, to attend conferences, to attend seminars, to be a good board member. As I addressed you in your January meeting, I said I have a passion for children. I got 2 daughters that graduate from here. I'm invested in the school system. And I was born and reared right here in Rocky Mount. And so I think that the boards need to be visible in the community. I've attended a lot of meetings and spoke at a lot of community meetings. And so I sincerely believe that the board should be a spokesman for the school system.
Mr. Cordell, what is the first things you do to familiarize yourself with the needs of District 8 and the rest of the school district?
I have to read, I have to learn, I have to listen to my voters in the community, and not only District 8, but the other district also. Because I represent District 8, but I also represent all the district in Nash County Schools. Just be a person that the people can count on. Yes, if I'm appointed, I will work closely with the board, but also have my own mind and not my own thinker, and to make my own decisions, as well as work closely with the board.
Okay, Mr. Cordell, do you plan to run for the District 8 seat in the next election?
I plan to, but I'm planning on thinking by year also to see how things go. But District 8 was vacated by a good man, and I think that there needs some sort of consistency, continuity there, and I plan to.
All right, and I have the final question, Mr.
Yeah.
Cordell,
Yes.
and that is, do you value diversity? And what efforts would you as a board member make to promote diversity within our school district?
Yes, I value diversity by heart. Different people bring different things to the table, so you must adjust. You can't have one size fit all, and you have to look at the parents, the students, even the faculty. They are different in their own different disciplines, and so you must be a type of person that can blend with the entire society. You don't fight every battle, but you keep things going and you make yourself being personable, and you are consistent in your mannerism and your decision-making capabilities.
Thank you, Mr. Cordell.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Next person is Mr. Zachary Gray.
Good afternoon or good evening.
Thank you for being here. I have the first question. What is your vision for Nash County Public Schools?
My vision for the Nash County Public Schools is a school system that provides an opportunity for all of its students to be successful in their academic careers, that they are prepared to be successful in whatever fields they choose to go in after graduating from high school.
All right, question number 2. As a board member, what would be your role in helping the school system understand and support your vision for public education and the Nash County Public School System?
Please repeat it one more time for me.
As a board member, what would be your role in helping the school system understand and support your vision for public education and the Nash County Public School System?
My role would be first to make the vision that I have for the Nash County Public School System Board known. Express to my fellow board members what my vision is. Make it plain, make it simple, make it understandable, make it meaningful. And to help people to accept my vision, I would have to sell the vision. Sell the vision. Why would this vision work best for our students? How will it benefit them? How will it make them better?
Okay, question 3, explain how your experiences and talents have prepared you to be an effective school board member.
I have a background in education. I have a degree in social science education. I've worked in the field of education for 17 years, and I've also worked in the business industry for the last 10 years. And my current position, I'm about selling a vision to my clients, helping them to see the importance of a product or a service that I'm providing to them. And that's how I would use those skills. Those skills have prepared me in serving on the board, school board. You have to, one, listen to find out what is needed, and then see how you can best meet the need.
What do you see as the challenges facing our school district?
Challenges facing the school district. I would say student apathy, lack of parent involvement, making sure that every student is successful. Not just on paper, but they are successful in being able to take what they've learned, what they've gained here in the Nash County Public Schools, and to use it to become productive citizens, to be valuable citizens in our society, to make contributions to our society.
Mr. Gray, what issues from a District 8 point of view should the Nash County Public Schools be addressing in the coming years?
Issues that should be addressed in the coming years for District 8. Student apathy is one. Parent involvement is another. Increasing, of course, student success on standardized testing, and making sure that we increase the graduation rate, and making sure that these students become members who are adding to our society as adults.
Mr. Gray, what do you see as your primary responsibilities as a member of the school board?
Primary responsibilities: being present, learning about the needs of the community and the students who are in the community, and all the students of the Nash County Public Schools, and try my best to see what we can do collectively to address those needs.
What are the first things you do to familiarize yourself with the needs of District 8 as well as the rest of the school district?
Learn as much as I can about the students and their current success rate in our school system and in their schools, seeing what they need in order to be successful, and seeing what we can provide so that they will be successful.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gray. Hi.
Hello.
Do you plan to run for the District 8 seat in the next election?
At this time, I must say that I'm undecided.
And I have the final question, Mr. Gray. Do you value diversity? And what efforts would you as a board member make to promote diversity within our school district?
Yes, I do value diversity. We serve a diverse population, and we need to make sure that our students can identify people that look like them, that may have similar backgrounds to them. If I'm not mistaken, studies have proven that students who see people that look like them are more likely to be successful in school. And we need to provide individuals who look like the students that we serve.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Colleagues, I must share, there was another individual that had submitted a letter of interest to Dr. Ellis, or it was said that he submitted to a certified letter. We have not seen that certified letter, did not hear through it. Our board clerk notified me and the superintendent. When was that, Ms. Lamb? When was that? When did you get that notification? Okay. So we got it today. We responded back. As a matter of fact, I shared with him earlier today. I tried to reach out to him personally to see what's going on. He did validate, he did send a certified letter. It was about a week and a half ago through the mail. But we have not seen it inside this facility. So therefore, we did ask him to send us that information today. Sharita did send it. And Sharita, I think you probably sent it out to the other board members. Or do you send, we didn't get it? Okay, and that's fine. But I did have a conversation with him. I just texted him. He said this morning he was in Fayetteville. He's on his way back. Oh, that's you? Come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Come on. You said, thank you.
I was in Wilmington. I was in
Wilmington.
training.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. So
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you.
So the floor's all yours.
I don't know what all has taken place. As Mr. Sharp has said, I appreciate you letting me speak. Yes, ma'am.
First question, we're going round to questions.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So I'm just the first one and everyone else has had the very same one.
Okay.
But what is your vision for Nash County Public Schools?
So my vision for Nash County Public Schools is for it to be the best school system that it possibly can be. And what that looks like for me, based on what I've seen in the community and the job that I do currently, we have to do a better job of grabbing our kids at a young age and supporting those kids. And that looks like, to me, supporting the family in some way. If there's a lack of education within the family, I think we do need to do something in a way of trying to engage those family members to encourage this child to do better in school or be supportive of this child while he's in school.
Two.
As a board member, what would be your role in helping and, I'm sorry, I'm going to start over. Okay. As a board member, what would be your role in helping the school system understand and support your vision for public education in the Nash County public school system?
Try it one more time. Repeat it for me one more time. It was a long one. Let me repeat.
Everybody has asked, so it's good.
Okay.
As a board member, what would be your role in helping the school system understand and support your vision for public education and the Nash County public school system?
So I am a product of the public school system. I was born in Edgecombe County, raised, went through the public school system over there. I have 7 brothers and sisters. That's the system that we know. That's the system that I know. That's the system that I'm concerned about. And that's the system that we have in place that I think is the best system as far as educating our kids. And that's my opinion. That's my personal opinion. And I'll stick to it based on the fact of where I came from and what it did for me. And how that looks to me is I need to be an advocate and a promoter of the National Rocky Mountain public school system. And that looks like going in the community, being active in the community as a board member, letting them know what we offer and that we are here to support their kids.
I got question 3. Explain how your experiences and talents have prepared you to be an effective school board member.
So, as I said, well, I haven't said, but I have 2 kids within the school system. I'm vested into the school system to make sure that it's the best school system that it possibly be, because you educate my kids. I have served on the MLK Commission in a setting like that. I also serve on the advisory board for the State Employees Credit Union on Fairview. So I think I'm prepared in the sense that, as I said, I'm in the community. I see these people on a daily basis. I know what our kids need. And I think I'm in a good position to help provide it for our kids. Because I see what not being educated looks like. I see that on a daily basis. So it's important to me that we do all we can as a school system to educate our kids in Nash County.
What do you see as a challenge facing our school district?
As I said to Shady's question, we have to engage the parents. So I'm gonna involve parents. That power school and that class dojo is the best thing they ever made. But so that looks like to me is we have to engage the parents and try to encourage them to encourage their kids. Because I know personally, because I've had this experience, I've had some kids that's on my caseload that's been in the school system. So I've had to go to the school system. But I think all this can be prevented if you can engage the kids, parents, and let them know how important it is for their child to be educated and show them what that looks like. Because we always can show them what it's going to look like at the end. I got a million stories about what it's going to look like at the end without the education. So I think the first part is to engage the parents.
Mr. Marshall,
Yes, ma'am.
what issues from a District 8 perspective should the Nash County Public Schools be addressing in the coming years?
I think we need to address first. I think it need to be equal. And what I would like to see, whatever one district has, I want to see the same thing that comes to our district. And I don't know that there's a disparity in that fact, but I want everything to be equal across the board, and everybody have a fair opportunity to be successful. That includes students in my district and in the other district. But that's what I want, equality within the district.
Mr. Worsley, what do you believe to be the primary responsibilities of the school?
To provide the best education that we possibly can for all the students in Nash County.
All right, Mr. Worsley, how you doing?
Mr. Jenkins, how are you, sir?
All right. What are the first things you would do to familiarize yourself with the needs of District 8 and the rest of the school district?
Say it again.
What are the first things you would do to familiarize yourself with the needs of District 8 and the rest of the school district?
You have to engage the community. I think you have to go in the community, find out what students are involved or in our school system, and try to engage those parents and see what their needs are, or see what they're looking from this school system, and see how best we can provide that assistance to them.
Thanks.
Well, y'all find them off quick today. Woo!
Okay. And I have the next one. Do you plan to run for the District 8 seat in the next election?
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I got a sick baby at home today. My question was, do you plan to run for the District 8 seat in the next election?
Sure, I do.
And I have the final question, and that is, do you value diversity? And what efforts would you as a board member make to promote diversity within our school district?
I do value diversity. And that looks like to me, being able to go to any community, engage all the kids, never mind what the economic situation is or what their address is. You need to be able to encourage those kids and build those kids up and support those kids that have the least of, and get the kids that have the most or that may be doing well to support or to buy into supporting their fellow students. I think that's going to create that diversity that you want. Because if I'm the least of them, or my child is the least of them, my child needs to be able to engage this other child who has the most.
Peer support, I get it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you rushing out to be with us.
I appreciate you, Mr. Shaw. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And we're sorry that we couldn't find your documentation, but I know you had that certified letter to validate you did it. Thank you, sir. So that concludes our interviewing session for District 8 board meetings for District 8 seat. I'd like for us to now go into our regular board meeting. So I'd like to call the board meeting to order, please. First thing on the agenda is pledge of allegiance. Sam? So I would like to say this, we decided what we would do is, the Rocky Mount or the junior JRTC could not be with us tonight. They wanted to do that. So what we decided to do was collectively, we would do it as a family together, right, Mrs. Lamb?
Yes.
That's right, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is recognitions. Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. I need a motion to adopt the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Mrs. Chavis, seconded by Dr. Washington. Question or discussions? Hearing none, Madam Board Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Go again.
Here, yes. So it's been properly moved. The agenda has been adopted. Next item on the agenda is recognition.
For this time, we get to recognize the NCPS Hero Recognition. A hero is visionary, courageous, inspirational, embodies excellence. And tonight we are recognizing Amber Hendricks, who've been nominated for Outperformance and Excellence. Hang on, let me speak good about you here. I'm gonna read this. Ms. Hendricks has created a nurturing and safe learning environment for her students. She's dedicated to working hard to ensure her students have successful third grade year. She constantly incorporates differentiation in her instruction to make sure her students' needs are being met. She uses data to make informed instructional decisions for her students. She's very student-centered and works hard to make sure every instructional decision is in her students' best interest. Her willingness to go above and beyond makes her a hero. Thank you. We will now recognize the following students: Will Broderick, Caroline Carter, and Abigail Wilson from Rocky Mount High School, Jeremiah Saunders and Chloe Scott from Southern Nash High School. Will those come forward? These students are our North Carolina Governor School Scholars. The North Carolina Governor Schools is a multi-week summer residential program for gifted and talented high school students, integrating academic disciplines, the arts, and unique courses on each of the 2 campuses. The curriculum focuses on the exploration of the most recent ideas and concepts in each discipline, and it does not involve credit, test, or grades. Congratulations to our scholars. Now recognize our Nash County Public Schools social workers. Please come forward when your name is called. Sheila Pittman, Samantha Andrews, Manisha Battle, Benita Jenkins, Renee Kearns, Shonda Parks, Cynthia Pritchard, Christina Turner, Shay Williams, and Latrice Woodard. Mr. Sharp, I know you want to say some good, kind words, so I'm gonna leave it to you.
You know, it's with great appreciation that we express our appreciation to you guys for all that you do. Recognize that you went through a really hard time during that pandemic, and you sort of persevered all the challenges you went through. So with deep appreciation from this board, we just want to say thank you. And also because of all that you guys were able to do and how you co-labored and collaborated with the partnership with the social service groups, we say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
You know, one of the things that we also want to recognize this week is Teachers Appreciation Week. So we recognize our teachers for all the hard work, the labor that they do, the perseverance, and how they work through obstacles to make sure all our kids are taken care of. So for that, Dr. Ellis, please convey to our teachers in Nash County Public Schools our appreciation for all that they do. So there's no other greater way. Thank you, sir. We just recognize, I think, some of the hardest working people in our district. So the next item on the agenda is our community partnership. So I'm going to follow that with the person that worked so hard with us in that partnership, Mr. Bill Hill, if you come forward, please. Bill has been doing a phenomenal job working with us, and I got to tell you, I can only give you like 7 minutes. Thank you, sir.
How do I start?
However you want to, sir.
Well, first of all, I think it would be remiss of me not to recognize this outstanding board. I know many of them around, and I know your dad, knew your dad, and knew your dad. And a lot of you board members just represent outstanding quality from the educational standpoint. You have such outstanding leadership, starting with the superintendent, the principals, and outstanding and wonderful teachers you have in Nash County. Just an excellent job that they do every day, and certainly with the appreciation for Appreciation Week for the teachers. Certainly was recognized even today with the county commissioners that you'll soon hear something from on that. I would also like to give a big thanks to the school health nurses with coordination with the local health, with Nash County Health Department. School health nurses, I think they're around 18 or 19, and then you brought on some auxiliary or some temporary help during COVID. But they have just done a tremendous job. And what's so really good about that, the cohesiveness, the way public health nurses and school health nurses work together. I mean, they're hand in glove when it comes to working together, and that makes all the difference in the world. I would certainly say that as many of we operate out of Mount Nashville with our clinical services, but we also offer the environmental services. And of course, we have animal control and solid waste with our 9 convenience center sites. But the clinical services have been really something that we've been involved with, not only with maternal and child health care, prenatal care services, of course, those STDs that we talk about, other communicable diseases. We're still involved every day with children's immunizations. But I would have to say the last 2 years with COVID has really been an experience for everybody. It's been one of trial and error. And I hope at the end of the day, but not at the end of the epidemic, we're getting close, I think. I'll talk about that just a little bit. But I think we certainly have been through a lot of times that I hope we got a lot of things right. We started off with thanks to Dr. Ellis for the use of the school for the first vaccination clinic. We made a few mistakes with 891 vaccinations we gave that day. We had 4-5-hour waits, but we got it right the next time. And I think our longest wait were somewhere around 20-30 minutes maybe. We then started operating out of a facility right next door to the health department, but also a lot over in Rocky Mount at Ebenezer Baptist Church. A big shout out to Reverend
Walker.
Thomas Walker and his son, TJ, Councilman TJ, just did a wonderful job at helping us get out the word. As a matter of fact, when Reverend Walker rolled up his sleeve, I said, hold on, we need to get a picture of this so we can promote vaccinations in our community. We started off with COVID over 2 years ago in March of 2000 with not even the provision of vaccinations. We heard they were coming. We didn't know how long it would be. We didn't know how well they would work, what we call efficacy or effectiveness, or how safe, which was a primary area that we had to deal with. But when we started off with old public health principles, which we didn't talk about until recently, but we talked about a lot years ago. Isolation and quarantine. Who had talked about isolation and quarantine in a long time? Contact tracing. And that was just essential for us to get somewhat of a hold and at least retard the spread of COVID the best we could. Thank goodness around December of that year, we got the vaccine in, Pfizer and Moderna, later J&J. But we started giving a lot of vaccinations. We're probably 60%, 58% or 60, but not too far behind the state when it comes to what we've done here in Nash County. I hope without a great deal of effort more, we're in another tier. You know, we went through Delta. Last July 4th, we were breathing pretty good and having a relaxed time and great deal of relief. We had a good summer. And then we saw Delta come back in the fall. And then as we got into December, oh boy, we started seeing the increases again with something called Omicron. That variant started appearing. And did we have a contagious spell during that period? We went up to 2,500 to 2,600 new cases a week during that period of time. But then we started going down. And we went down until 2 or 3 weeks ago. We're having a little surge again, but thank goodness, I hope it will be curtailed at least with the vaccination, with the vaccine-induced immunity and with the natural immunity that we've had from those that have actually contracted the virus. So it's been a time that we've obviously needed to work very closely with the school system, all of our school children, all of our teachers and providers here. And that has been a wonderful opportunity. We worked out of your schools in providing vaccinations when the age limits dropped for the vaccination. So it's been one that we've really worked with and one that's been, I think, somewhat successful. And hopefully when we critique all this one day, it will be more positives than negatives to what we've tried to do. Be glad to try to answer any questions. We are seeing a little bit of a surge now, not much. We had 34 cases week before last and 65 or 6 new cases last week. I report them on Tuesday, so we'll see what tomorrow will be, but we're expecting a little increase over the next several weeks, but I don't think anything like what we experienced with Omicron.
So, Mr. Hill, I'm just going to say thank you for coming with us and sharing the information. If you step forward for a second, on behalf of our board and your work for the school system, we want to say thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, the next person in his recognition has been a tremendous friend to the school system and a tremendous ally for the school system as well. And that's Mr. John Judd. So welcome, John.
All right, I have about a 30-minute presentation. No, my name is John Judd. I'm the plant manager at Rocky Mountain Engine Plant. I did prepare 2 slides, if we could get the next slide. But before I do that, what I'd like to do is just say I'm a graduate of Southern Nash High School back in 1987, and I appreciate the work that you all do for the community, for the district, and for the school system. So if we just go to the presentation, I want to give 2 things. One, I want to talk about Rocky Mountain Engine Plant in Cummins. That's been my family for 34 years, and I love it. And but the first thing I want to do is just look at statistics. We started in 1979, was actually at the time when it was a conception. There was 2 founding partners. It was J.I. Case and Cummins. They formed a partnership in 1979. It was called Consolidated Diesel. Most everybody in the community still to this day calls us CDC. We started production in 1983. Since then, we've been running extremely strong. We're 1.25 million square feet. We have expanded to our building in 2021. We do have a 40,000 square foot training center right up the street. And then in Enfield, we have I think it's a 300,000 square foot warehouse where we also employ a couple hundred employees as well. Our site is 1,800. So we employ, I think we're in the top 3 employers. Any given day, we have 2,200 to 2,500 people on our site if you can consider contingent workers and if you consider contractors that are on site. We have capacity to run 700 a day. Supply chain for the world is broke down. So right now it's around a 600 a day capacity. We build diesel and natural gas engines. We also manufacture heads and blocks. We're about 1.98 billion in sales in 2021. We have been upward in 2018, 2019, prior to COVID, at 2.2 billion in sales. So it's very significant. It's about 10% of the total sales for Cummins across the world. What makes us significant is our proliferation and so if you were to, some of the products that we have, all the school buses have our engines in them, all the city buses. You'll see many trucks around the community that house our engines. We have built 4.76 million engines. We're expecting our 5 millionth engine to be produced in the first quarter of 2023. So it's pretty significant. What makes us really unique is the customers. We have over 837 different customers, which is very diverse across the world. You can go to the next slide. What I wanted to talk specifically about is the partnership that Cummins. We do a couple things. First thing we do is every employee gets paid 4 hours per person per year to go out in the community and work. And what we we thrive on is we want to make sure all our employees, so we track the participation. We want all our employees to go out in the community and get involved in work. If you look on the presentation, some of our community partners in our work streams, of course, the United Way is a big partner for us. Down East Partnership for Children, Communities in Schools, STEP, Boys and Girls Club, Nash Community, and then, of course, Nash County, Edgecombe, Halifax Public Schools. When you look at our work streams, we're building prosperous communities. Cummins global priorities, which are environment of equality, equality of opportunity and education, effective community partnerships, and then translating manufacturing to the community. So just a few things I wanted to add. Our employees at Rocky Mountain Engine Plant, every year during the United Way campaign, the last campaign was $250,000 that our employees contributed. Then Cummins turned around and matched it. So we were able to give $500,000 back to our community. We've been sponsors in a lot of different events around the community. We also were the founders of the STEP organization several years ago. So that I know Pam Gould has been here and spoke to all of you. We do a lot of work in STEM and STEAM, and we do a lot of work in IM and AMP. We were, one of the things I'd like to tell you is that we are in desperate need of people in our community, young people, to come out of the high schools into the, we encourage them to go right into the community schools and then come right into to Rocky Mountain Engine Plant to Cummins. It's a really good environment. It's not your old manufacturing. It's robotics. It's clean, and it's a very good place to work. We encourage female engineers. We have one of the things we're trying to do is we have gone to the public schools, we have gone to the community colleges, and we're trying to encourage young women to get into engineering and make a difference in the plant. So we've been very intentional about bringing women engineers in, and then we want to make sure that these ladies go out into the community and talk to future engineers. That's extremely important to us. We formed robotics teams in all the school districts. We've hosted the Lego events, so we've had many of your middle schools come to our facility. We've been involved with Cummins Care, which is we've partnered with Parent Corps, and it's a program that we've targeted in Edgecombe community at this point. Depending on how that works, we'd like to pitch it over to Nash. And I think that's about it. We're just continuing to bring what we want to do in our communities. We want to take what we do at the plant. We want to transfer it to students. We want to educate the students on what we do in our community. We have any given day, there's openings across our community. We're all trying to find people to come to work. And so I appreciate the work that you all do in the community. So there's a lot. I know I probably could have went for a lot longer, but I just appreciate this time. Mr. Sharp said I had 7 minutes. Don't go over 7 minutes.
So I'm going to introduce his lovely wife, if she was staying, because she's been an instrumental part of that as well. John has really been serving our community well. He sort of hides all the things that he does because he's sort of humble about that thing, but he has really been engaged in the school system, really, as far as the folks that's going on there. So thank you, appreciate it. Diana, thank you so very much. John?
All right.
On behalf of the Nash County Board of Education Public Schools, thank you for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public inputs. Each month, as part of at least one regular scheduled meeting, will be set aside time for public input according to policy number 2310. During this time, there will be no clapping, jeering, or any other remarks. Anyone violating this policy will be subject to removal, and action will be taken in accordance with General Statute 143-318-17. We have two people signed up to speak tonight. Miss Mary Arrington.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Glad to be back with you all. I come before you each month talking to you about your bus drivers and monitors. First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Johnson. He came and rode with me because I made the offer, invited you all to come and ride with the bus drivers and see what we go through. And I thank him for coming. But like I told him that my bus, I have no problem because I have it straightened out and I don't stand for a lot of different things. But the bus drivers have asked me to come before you all and plead with you to help get some funding so there can be more monitors on the bus because these children are out of hand. And when the children are out of hand and nothing is being done about it, you know, that's hard for the bus drivers to do their job. And that's a safety issue because they got to constantly talk to the bus driver, the ones that even don't have a monitor. That's bad for them. They distracted at all times, and that's no good. No good at all. Second of all, you know, the first thing they always say, pay raise. Okay, that's what they're asking for, a pay raise. And you all have brought that before, but the thing is, they still asking for a pay raise. And what they give me, that's what I can bring to you all and tell you all about it. But if it's possible tonight, is there any way I can mention one person's name? They are here with us tonight. And, oh, it's good. It's nothing bad. Our new director, Mr. Hopkins. Since he has been with us, we have had more things done and happened for the bus drivers since he has been with us. And I often tell the bus drivers and monitors, if you have a problem, his door is always open. We appreciate him. He's doing a job. He came in on a job that I don't see how he rectified it. That's what I can say, because it wasn't where a lot of bus drivers wanted to stay. They was on the way out the door. But since Mr. Hopkins has been there, he has been able to talk to people and he has did a good job, a very good job. But I want to just say thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins.
Next, Mr. Thomas Winstead.
Good evening, board.
Good evening.
Mr. Sharp, you already stole a little bit of my thunder earlier. I come before you want to recognize May 1st through May the 6th as Teacher Appreciation Week. In the past 2 years during the pandemic, staying home with grandchildren made me realize the major role of teachers in shaping our children's development and foundation of their lives. I want to personally thank the teachers and educators and their involvement. But in addition, I want to say thank you to the many behind the scenes employees in the educational process. They are nutrition, cafeteria staff, custodial staff, guidance counselors, bus drivers, maintenance staff, instructional teams, principals and assistant principals, administrators, and the list goes on. In total, there's over 1,900 employees in the Nash County school system. Not only support the academic process, but the other aspects of the students and development, such as social, mental, emotional, and physical. To each of you board members, I'll say thank you for your commitment to serve, to ensure our future generations has a solid foundation in education that will prepare them to enter the workforce. And I'll close with this message to the parents. And may I suggest that they take time to write a letter to your children's school teacher, expressing your appreciation. And with that, I'll say thank you for your time and you'll have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes public input. The next item on the agenda is consent agenda. Dr. Washington.
We have one item on the consent agenda, and that's our requirements for face coverings. The superintendent's recommendation is that we continue, and I'd like to make the motion for approval to the board.
It's
No
been,
second.
it's been properly moved by Dr. Washington, seconded by Ms. Bullock. Question or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote, Madam Chair, or Madam Board Clerk.
She got a promotion.
Yeah, she did. Hey, she get the money to go with it, too, right? That's good.
Yes.
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 Yes, Ms. Chairperson.
Just add a little bit.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, yes.
Yes. So moved and carried. Next item on the agenda is business items, donations.
Dear board members, please accept this request for the following donation. Rocky Mount High School received the following donation. The City of Rocky Mount Fire Department donated 8 sets of turnout gear and 15 Nomex hoods valued at $17,125 to be used for the fire service program. We need this as an approval item.
Mr. Chair, I make the motion that we accept this with great appreciation.
Second,
Second.
it's been properly moved by Ms. Chavis, second by Mr. Benson. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, Madam Board Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item on the agenda is personnel recommendations. Ms. Wallace.
Good evening again, Chairman Sharp, Vice Chair Dr. Washington, President and virtual board members. The personnel report has been presented and reviewed. On behalf of Superintendent Ellis, your approval of the personnel recommendation report is requested.
Need a motion?
So second.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Evelyn Bullock, second by Mr. Lang Dutton. Questions or discussions? Hearing none. Clerk.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Next item was for information only. We processed that through. Next item on the agenda is Administrative Services and Operations Committee. We have a few items that we need to go through. I think there's 4 items. We've already discussed the bulk of them in work sessions or committee sessions, and all board members present. So I'm going to ask that we go through 3 of them with a motion to accept. Actually, the old Rocky Mount Baseball Stadium, we decided what we would do. We would begin that process all over again, starting at $80,682.02. And the last person or last group was Nash. What's that group?
Holdings.
Nash County Holdings. So the next item on the agenda we need action for is the budget presentation. We did that also twice during the course of the span of last month. And then we'll come back, talk about District 8. And then we also had an action item to extend Kellis's services. Ms. Sheila Wallace did it. So if I can get a motion to actually approve items 1, 2, and 4. Yes, sir.
I got one question about the Rocky Mount Baseball Stadium. If that meeting is supposed to start tomorrow, right? 10 days.
We will, once the board establishes the minimum.
If we approve it tonight, it starts tomorrow, right?
It depends on when the newspaper can get it in. It'll probably be a couple, this week. It'll start this week.
I was just looking, 10 days, I'll make sure everybody had the 10 days according to my calculation, be made 12.
Well, it'll.
So there'll be no-
It'll go in the paper this week and then that'll officially start. And we'll send an email to the board to let you know.
So there'll be no conflict, so everybody knows what the closing date will be.
Yes, sir.
So can I get a motion to approve items 1, 2, and 4?
I'm sorry, I meant, did you get the starting price?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
$80,682.02. Need a motion to accept that.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Properly moved by Mr. Lamb, second by Ms. Davis. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, Madam Board Clerk?
Yes.
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 I have no issues with the budget or Kelly Services, but vote no.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So move. So carry. Next item on the agenda for discussion. We just heard 4 great candidates to come to share with this board why they want to be seated in that role. So basically, I'm gonna open the floor up for discussion now with the board members. And Rod, I'm gonna ask that you would sort of direct us through this because this is my first time going with this number of people coming. I think the last time we had was Sharona Bullock and she was the only one. So that was sort of pretty straightforward.
So I think after you, well, I would say this, after you go through discussion, then you see if there's a motion to nominate one or more of them.
Okay.
And then depending on how many are nominated, we can decide how best to handle voting.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
We were instructed to do a number system.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we calculating those in this process or not?
Well, we're gonna have that discussion.
Okay.
And as far as what we got, as far as with that, and then we could sort of follow through with the tabulation.
So Bill, like,
I'm walking through this. I don't know about this, Mr. Malone.
right,
Thank you, Ms. Davis.
So I don't know if the board officially established that you were going to tally these
No, we
based on
didn't.
your numbers. So I do think that you could just start to see if there's any discussion about whether or not one or more of the candidates that there's support for them. And then see if there's a motion for one or more of them. And if that doesn't lend itself to a way to move forward, then we can look at other options.
Okay. Any other question regarding that? Ms. Bullock?
No, I'm ready to make a motion.
Any questions or discussions from any other board members? Hearing none, if there's anyone that anyone would like to nominate or for that position, the floor is open for nominations.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Ms. Gray. Zach Gray.
Madam Clerk, you got any other nominations?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Kathy Hope.
Any other nominations? We can close it. So the nomination is closed. Now, the next process we have, Mr. Malone, is
Yeah, I think that with 2 names, you could very easily handle this like you would a vote for chair. Or vice chair, you can just see how many are in favor of one and then the other. And if that gets us a majority, great. If not, we can look at other options.
okay. So with the nominations closed, let's do a roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Right.
I'm sorry, Dan, you got a question?
No, I see how it's going now. I apologize.
Hope.
Right.
Hope.
Gray,
Hawk. Ms. Hawk.
Gray,
Oh,
Great. So we have a 5-5 split, I would assume, correct? All right, so with that said,
So there are a couple of options. We have had boards that have been unable to make a selection at a given meeting. They will table it and vote at the next meeting. You have, I mean, you don't have an obligation to fill the vacancy, but you have an obligation to try to fill the vacancy. So it is often politically difficult to fill vacancies at times. And it's not uncommon for a board to table it and to revisit it at the next meeting. Or you can, like you might in other items, go through the process again, see if you get different nominations, see if you get a different result. But it's certainly acceptable to table it and to address it again at the next meeting, and to do that at each meeting until you are able to get a majority. And it's, again, we've had boards that have simply been unable to fill the vacancy for whatever reason.
so with that said, we will move from that. At my only direction we will stay neutral at this 5-5. And as Mr. Malone said, we'll reconvene at the next board meeting, have that discussion. And
well, that's kind of a board, I think it's kind of a board decision to.
Did we just make that decision by splitting 5-5 or bringing it back?
Mr.
Well,
Chairman,
I think you could see if the board members have other options and suggestions first, yes.
All right.
I make a motion, we table the appointment of District 8 board seat until the June meeting.
Second.
Probably moving seconds, this questions or discussions?
Are we beholden now to our shorter list of candidates?
No,
Have we
not at
reopened?
all.
Have we-
Not at all. And I mean, to be honest, the process is very fluid. Whether you're open for new candidates to come in is a whole separate issue. Typically, people don't do that, but you're certainly free. Any of the four at the next meeting could be nominated. And I mean, the board it's your process and you're free to do with it how you choose.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussions? Madam Clerk, roll, but please. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
yes.
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 Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Next item on the agenda is academic services. Rhonda Bullock.
Yes, so we have two items. The first item was for information only with Mr. Plyler.
Okay. We're just gonna go through it, Miss.
Okay, are we going to keep going?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The second item are field trips with Mr. Thompson. And we went over those, so I guess we can take a vote.
I need a motion to accept the field trips.
I move that we approve the field trips as presented in the committee meeting.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Dr. Washington, second by Evelyn Bullock. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next.
Hope Mr. Gainey gets them all back on the bus. They're in need of some players in Raleigh.
Good point.
Thank you. Item number 11, Policy Committee, Ms. Bullock, Evelyn Bullock.
Mr. Chair, we have 5 policies up for final final approval tonight. Policy number 3100, curriculum development. Policy 3410, testing and assessment program. Policy 3420, student promotion and accountability. Policy 3460, graduation requirements. And policy 8310, annual independent audit. I move that we approve these for final vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Evelyn Bullock, second by Lank Dunkson. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next item on the agenda is Superintendent's Report.
So we are coming down to the last month. I wanted to give some important dates. May 13, testing begins. May 26 is our last day of school. Graduation days, early college high school is on May 26th at 2. Fall River Academy is May 27th at 6. Southern Nash and Rocky Mount High School graduate June 3rd. Southern is at 9, Rocky Mount is at 11. June 4th, Nash Central High School is at 9 and Northern Nash is at 11. Also, Academic Excellence Banquet is May 16th, and we have named it Dream Big. It'll be a Brown Auditorium from 5 to 7. May 5th, which is Thursday, we'll have another Connect, Inform, Engage session on specialized services. And last but not least, it is Teacher Appreciation Week. We just want to thank teachers for their dedication and hard work throughout this whole year, throughout this whole 2 or 3 years, especially. And it should be more than a week. It probably should be a few months, but I appreciate every teacher in the district and thank you for everything you do for the students of Nash County. So thank you.
We echo that, Dr. Ellis. Schedule upcoming events. We have a joint meeting with the Nash County Commissioners May 3rd at 6 o'clock. That's at the Red Oak Fire Station.
Yeah.
So then we got a Policy Committee meeting on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. May 31st. The Administrative Service Operations, Tuesday, May 31st, Support Services, Academic Service and Accountability. And all those are May 31st. We also have the June work session at 6 o'clock, at June 6th at 5 o'clock here in this building. And following that, we will have the June board meeting at 6:30 here. If nothing else causes the board for this, I need a motion to close. To adjourn.
I support the motion to close.
Second.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Edwards, second by Mr. Lamb. Questions or discussions? Hearing none, Madam Board Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. With that, means adjourned.